think I rolled a wild. So here we are. And we are. Where did I roll a wild? Did I roll it? I don't know. We kind of rush when we are rolling and picking up our dice. All that time. Which one's mine? Which one is yours? I don't know, and I'm not sure.
Oh, we're live.
True believers. Kind of figured we were. There's no way you weren't gonna like otherwise stop me.
No, yeah,
Capitalize on that.
had to rush a little bit, but we got there.
Really?
We got there. True believers, welcome to, of course, as always, your MCP side chick, the show that you're not telling the other shows about, except for when you tell them, and then you tell them just a friend.
The MCP blog that made you have a second phone.
Right.
That's it's your work phone.
Right.
Yep.
It's the one. We're the reason why you're sitting in the bathroom for 20 minutes, taking a poop.
Yes.
Right. We are the Professional Casual Network presents. Wait, did I roll a wild? A Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog, the only vlog that exists. I looked. I googled it.
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I looked it up.
Much like Dracula being in the Avengers.
Yes.
You know, upon looking it up, it turned out not to be the case.
You are absolutely correct, and I'm very excited that we got to bring that up today because everybody, we got a new card to talk about. We got some games played and some hobby things to talk about, and we've got a very exciting announcement coming to you next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, where we will be playing a very special event. But let's get into games played and hobby thoughts that happened over at twitch.tv/Professional Casual Network. And Tim, if you could turn me up in my headphones just a wee bit. You're an absolute angel. Thank you so much. The game that you guys played, Tim,
Yeah.
you finally got a game in.
Yeah.
For the Infinity War League that we have going on over at twitch.tv/Professional Casual Network every Monday, 7 p.m.
It was my second game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Daddy's 2-0.
What was your first game?
The first game was against Dan.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. You back to back.
Back to back.
You barebacked it.
The beast with two backs is
Yeah.
what they call me.
Yeah, actually, that is what they call you on the streets
Yeah.
You're it.
and in the sheets. So let's talk about your game against not Dan but Taylor.
Against Taylor. So this one
Throwlash Gaming himself.
Yeah,
Yes.
the old T-Ho. Really put the screws to me, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a great game. It was close nearly the entire time. In fact, the entire time.
It was even for quite a long part of it, wasn't
It
it?
was, yeah. It was. He'd score 4. We'd both score 4, and then So I guess overall we played the 2 Crisis Eye that affected Team Tactics cards, which was an awesome combination. One of them, for every reality gem that you were holding, you would roll a die. If you got a crit, you could either pull a Tactics card from your roster,
Yep.
or refresh one that you had used.
Yep.
The other one, the Soul Gems, allowed you to reduce the cost of activating a Team Tactics card by 1 for each one you held.
Gross.
Yeah, so we were just trying to, use bitter rivals as much as possible.
That's super fair. So we've been seeing a lot now. Shifting realities, I believe, is what it's called.
Yes.
Or reality shift, something like to that extent. We have been seeing a situation where that is getting played a ton.
Yes.
It's been on at least 2 now, potentially 3.
It's been on 3.
It's been on 3. Okay, so it has officially been on 3. What do you think that? First off, it's the only 20 threat in the game for this league, I should say specifically.
Correct.
So it makes you want, like, if you draw it, you do want it because you do want as many points as potentially possible, right?
Yeah.
Also, it's so strong because it's not really a situation like it comes down to a single die roll. Absolutely, I don't disagree with that. But man, the potential of getting back a tactics card is ridiculously great and fantastic. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I maximize something and I don't know how to unmaximize it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
learning pains here, people. Growing pains. Growing pains, learning thoughts. Twitch.tv/Professional Casual Network. Look, how would you say it went on a scale of 1 to flipping the table, playing against Taylor, the enigma that he is, overall? And how do you think the rest of this league is going to play out now that you have played 2 games?
So it was a little odd because I wasn't adding a new gem or anything here because I got fast forwarded up a little bit to maintain the gem level thing. So I was playing with the same 2 gems. I considered swapping one out, but the gem where you can choose to count one of your enemy's models as your own for victory points is just so good, and has been honestly the only reason I've won both games so far. So it is vital. I heavily expect all of us to probably have that by the end of this because it is just so good.
I will not. I made a declaration in the chat during Dan and Danny's game. I said specifically, I will never take it because I am set out to win the loser trophy. And clearly, I'm not going to take anything that's good in this game
Right.
at all. Right off the bat, I'm taking Cabal. You know what I mean? So, but it is super strong. I think if you are going to run this league, if you're in an area where this league is going to be available to you, that is an instant take every time.
Yes.
Especially in comparison to the other gems that are in that set, which is Mind.
Yeah, it's a mind gem.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not as good. You know, like overall, I think the only thing I think my Mind Gem is different because I know I have a Mind Gem, which is getting to switch damages
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
like,
that's good too.
Yeah.
and I actually specifically just took that one because I'm going to, spoiler for you, when we have our game, I'm going to use it to flip Black Bolt myself.
Okay.
So,
right.
yeah. Yeah, if you're not going to
right.
attack Black Bolt, that's fine. I'll do it myself. You know,
Okay.
much like I tell my girlfriend. Most
She's
nights.
not attacking your Black Bolt.
Yeah, if she's not attacking my Black Bolt, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, overall, so I played Unaffiliated. He played Criminal Syndicate, and it was really kind of evenly spaced out. We both kind of took a side. We rotated a little bit, but outside of not really wanting to stray away from those reality secures, there wasn't a whole ton of movement. So the fights were pretty heavy on the right side of the board, on my right, his left initially, and then it kind of swept over to the left side.
Right. Well, and now that I think about it, playing Criminal Syndicate specifically, when you know that gem of being able to take a character and flip it to your team for calculating points, hurts real bad.
Yeah.
Because you are potentially holding objectives that you are now not holding at all,
Yes.
and potentially losing a point.
His Punisher play was very good. He had him kind of on one of the back end reality gem spots and would just the thing that I always forget, the Black Ops training, to move himself up, hip fire, potentially blow something up, or move up and blow something up, and then be able to move back. So he was always controlling that. Was really good. I did not roll a single defensive success, I believe, for the first 2 rounds.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was brutal.
Ronan got absolutely spacked and blown off the table like he did in the first game that he was in, but having that accuser innate or reactive is just so good. Being able to make the short movement and get an attack off, and when he's getting just absolutely chunked, in my game against Dan, it was against a 4 strength energy attack from Domino. This week with Taylor, it was a 4 strength energy attack from Okoye, just obliterating Ronan. But making sure
All right.
that he had that 4 power to Kree Justice off of the Accuser trait was life-saving.
Right.
Only reason he was able to put in work for the most part.
Interesting.
But final round, it all came down to a martial prowess with Gamora.
Oh yeah.
He shot Gamora with Punisher with a hip fire, rolled 3 skulls, and I was like, okay, now's the time. Now's the time. Rolled good on the defense, got the 2 damage back, killed him, got that point, and then it was over. Otherwise, he had my balls in a vice.
Interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. The other game that was played this week, the too hot for Monday night Crisis Fight. only on pay-per-view.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
was a astronomical beatdown of epic proportions. I don't know. I didn't actually see it. It was Dan versus Danny, the game everybody has absolutely 100% been waiting for.
Yeah.
It was so hot you needed to coal off.
Hey.
Oh.
That's why I keep him around.
Right?
Yeah, it's specifically
He's
and
good.
that, and he has the computer.
Yeah, right?
So let's talk about the game because I caught the last little bit of it where you scored 9 points at the end of the game and just absolutely demolished the whole situation.
Yeah.
It
So
was out of nowhere.
I won it in the way only a wife can beat her husband, which is through
Being underestimated.
underestimated emotional damage that I did to him by just having She-Hulk on the table, and subterfuge because that mind gem, his Black Widow was scoring him 2 points, so snagged her right up and
Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy good. Yeah, so we also
Yep.
played Reality. We happened to get that card,
Yeah.
and then we played the Mind, All in the Mind or whatever, the
Yeah,
Mind
whatever.
Crisis. So
Yeah.
you grab that mind control device in the middle and have your.
that was
opponents
the one
attack
we
each
did?
other. I think we did that one. too.
yeah, I hate that one.
It's really
Did you
interesting.
both find that there needed to be some sort of pay cost to being able to control somebody's mind just because of how brutal it was
Yeah,
over time?
and I just got really confused about. I'm a color coding kind of person, so like you can't tell me the red thing goes with the yellow gem. It was very confusing, and that was my own fault where like I didn't completely understand it. So
Right.
it didn't. The one time that I did get to control his people, nothing good came of it. Nothing bad came of it either. But it was just kind of like, well, this is literally having people
Yeah.
fight over this stupid point. I used a space gem to get that point, size 3 closer to me. Whatever. It was stupid. So I'll absolutely swap that gem out if I can.
I mean, it could have helped. Obviously, be different in a different scenario because with the point that you moved wasn't worth victory points directly.
Right.
It just allowed you to act with opponents that had the mind gem fragments, and I
Yes.
purposely chose I had Lockjaw and Black Widow pick up the mind gem fragments, so it wasn't
Yeah.
so like they're like I don't care if you attack with Lockjaw with his bite, like
Yeah.
getting bleed could be annoying, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I'm
Make
not
sure.
great at strategery, but like,
Strategery. Yep.
yeah, I'm an English teacher. I'm allowed to do that. I knew at the end of my turn that he was going to be able to, he would have the mind device, so he would be able to control She-Hulk
Yeah.
and somebody else that doesn't matter. So I was in Hella's activation, and I could have moved her, but I knew that it would move her within 2 of She-Hulk, and or whatever She-Hulk's builder attack is. And I was like, nope, not doing that. And Tim's like, well, why don't you move Hella right here? And I was like, because I don't want to do that. But I didn't want to say it. I wanted to just wait. And then when it worked out, I was like, that's why I did that. And Tim was like, oh, good job.
Right.
I was like, thank you, because I need that praise from outside sources to know I'm doing it right.
Super fair.
You know?
I also have the same struggle that you do a lot of the time where I don't want to just blurt out everything that I'm about to do.
Right.
But then I get told by everybody else after, hey, you got to talk more, all right? You
Yeah.
got to let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the chat knows and things like that. And then I do it, and then it gets used against me constantly. So
Yeah, that little nugget I kind
yeah.
of tucked back there.
It's a tough
Yeah.
balance.
Normally,
Yes.
there's Anthony there too, where if I'm like, oh, they haven't seen what I'm doing yet, he will explain it to them multiple times. And then when they're like, whatever, I'm just
variety
gonna
of
do this
ways.
anyway. He's like, well, no, you shouldn't. And I was like, Anthony, shut up!
Come
They
on,
fell
man.
for my trap. Let them fall for it.
Right?
right.
It was a game that was so typical of the Infinity War League, though, where it was such a swing, where
Yeah.
I was pulling ahead every turn. I was
Uh-huh.
up like 4 points or 4 or 5 points. And
At
then
least.
turn 4, use Mind Gem Black Widow to take 2 of my points away, give them to you, and you scored, I think it was 7 total. You went right from 9 to 16.
Yep.
And it was like, boop, 1.
Yep.
Wait, what?
You know?
Caught everybody off guard,
Well,
except
e-
for you. You
Yeah,
just held
even
it.
me. I was like, well, okay, it's going to be another round. It's going to be difficult
Mm-hmm.
for her to win. But I think Dan has it. Just
Yeah.
not this round,
Yeah.
next round. And
Yeah.
then she just won. It was over. It was like, oh.
Tim's like, why don't you throw that taco truck into Black Widow? And I'm like, because I don't want to. Stop talking, Anthony.
Because I don't have Baser, because I want to take those 2 points.
Yeah.
I totally forgot you had that gem. It's so stupid good. And the gems I chose are just not great.
I think it depends on. I think your gem selection, and again, specifically if you're going to be playing this event, you need to either do mono affiliation and pick your gems that fit that,
Yes.
or pick gems that fit both affiliations that you're running. Because even I did a situation where I picked a gem. My first gem that I picked was something that worked great for Inhumans.
Yeah.
Being able to get damage off of black or damage onto Black Bolt to get him to flip early because I know people are just going to ignore him, or vice versa, trying to keep somebody else alive, things like that. Doesn't work great for Cabal unless you're Modok and he's already injured.
Yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
was so
Yeah.
good.
Super fair. I mean,
so-
you have She-Hulk and Black Bolt on there. You know what I mean? You get a little bit of damage on her full healer by killing off Black Bolt so he can get on his injured side and then just blow people up.
Yeah, 100%.
All it takes is 11 points or whatever that costs.
Right. Yeah, 11 points. Yep. It's still a pretty solid team
Yeah.
in retrospect. Because you could easily do A-Force. You could easily do A-Force in Humans as
Yeah.
a roster.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is gross.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Okay, so a few things before we move on. We've all played a bunch of games
Yes.
at this point. How many games do we have left at time that we are talking currently?
As of right now, everyone has played 2 except for
Me.
you, Dan, who's played 3, Danny, that has also played 3.
I've played 2
Danny has
at time
also
of recording.
played 2
Right.
at time of
Where
we're
you-
live. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no
this is
more
live.
at time of recording.
Right.
Right now, I've played 2 games.
As of right now.
Yeah, I played Taylor first,
Yeah.
and then I played Dan.
And then it's you and I this Monday over at twitch.tv
Yes.
/ Professional Casual Network,
Yes.
7 p.m.
And then it's me and Tim the following
Where
week.
Yeah.
I'll just say, and this is for Tuesday, if you're listening to this when it drops on Tuesday. Holy crap! Can you believe that table I brought? Holy smokes, that was great.
Honestly,
It looks so
beautiful.
good.
It was
Beautiful.
so. I was shocked at all of the new terrain that I got done specifically for that table for us to play on. That maybe, if you squint your eyes and use your imagination, looked a little bit like an Asgard table.
Yeah.
Bravo to me.
Yep.
Soft clap.
Way to go.
I did great. I did wonderful.
Truly.
Now I will be holding myself accountable
Yeah.
for when I don't inevitably get it done.
I love that motivationally.
Yeah.
Well, I already made it canon. I have to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I've already made a canon and I have to.
You weren't joking.
I wasn't
This is
joking.
real.
Actually, the only thing that will potentially be stopping us is that the mat I have is actually too big for our playing surface.
Right.
That's the only thing that might get in the way of this. But then again, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do it live, as
Yeah.
they
Make
say.
it work.
Yeah. But we've all played. So let's talk about a few things because we play this game very differently than how most people play it. How have you guys been liking the idea of bringing the same roster to all of the games in this league? Not being able to switch out characters, not being able to switch out tactics cards, not being able to do anything.
Right.
You know, you're stuck with what you brought. Looking back, do you guys wish you had brought different stuff, different people? Where are you at?
So I actually ran into an issue when I was prepping for my game with Dan where, on the one hand, I get analysis paralysis with the tactics cards, and to go through all those tactic cards and weigh them, and that's the thing that I always get that like upset tummy nervousness about before a game. So having 8 and like you got to pick from these 8, awesome. And with the list that I ran, I could literally only take 5 of the 8 that I had because I didn't end up doing special delivery because I didn't have a flying A-Force person. So literally the 5 that I could take, I had to take. And looking at them now, I'm like, why did I pick these 5 cards? Like, these are trash.
Right.
Which at the time that I picked them, I think that I had like something in my mind, but it may have actually been a better idea for me to stick one affiliation and really try to be just more flexible
Right.
with that.
And I remember you specifically saying, I literally just took these because they were like the affiliation specific thing. That's why I took
Yes,
them.
exactly. I've
Yeah.
got 2 cards for each affiliation, so like I couldn't take those 2, and then
Yeah.
And
delivery. So
I
whatever.
had the same issue as you did when I was building my cards because I was like, all right, well, I'm going to take Inhumans. So let me take all these really good Inhuman cards. And then the first game I played was Cabal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where so like
Yeah.
there, and we were playing Shifting Reality where I could either pull if I rolled it early, I could pull a card from my tactics that deck that I didn't use.
Yeah.
Which were 3 cards I wouldn't have been able
Exactly.
to use
Yep.
because they were very
Yep.
specific. And I just, I'm finding it a bit of a struggle myself.
Yeah.
In that aspect. Dan, how have you felt about it overall?
I haven't minded it at all. I feel like 3 games isn't a huge deal to me to play with the similar characters. My only thing is that we got some models came out since we started the league, and I really want to play with Omega Red, and I can't just drop him in the roster since we started. But other than that, I don't mind too much. I did use Cable like 3 games in a row, so the last game against Danny, I was like, well, I'm going to go Avengers because I'm kind of tired of Cable.
Yeah.
I just want something different because I'm so used to playing something completely different every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I've gotten those characters down pretty well.
Right. I also think a big struggle that I'm seeing, not with me specifically, but maybe with you guys, is when you're running mono affiliation, or I'm sorry, when you're running dual affiliation, or even 3-way affiliation. Because I know Taylor has 3. He's got
Yeah.
Wakanda, Spider Foes, and Criminal Syndicate.
Right.
That you are kind of always running the same characters because you're trying to get those affiliations, regardless of the affiliations that you're running, right? You're running X-Force and Avengers, and you saw yourself taking Cable almost every time.
Right.
And I think that's kind of interesting in that aspect. Now, let's talk to a guy who literally does not have an affiliation or care about anything or anyone when it comes to this game ever, especially his models, the Power Bottom himself.
Yeah.
The Power Bottom 10, I very much want all of your feedback on how you have felt about this game. Taking characters that nobody loves, taking models that you hardly use yourself, minus Ronin,
Yeah.
because Ronin is a go-to for you constantly.
Yeah.
I am super curious on your feelings about all this. Do you regret your choices? Not just here, but in life in general? Yeah.
Oh, well,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
But
Let me know. Tell me about it.
so yeah, I'm playing the Power Bottom 10, which are the 10 least taken and played characters from Xavier Protocol Season 5 data drop that they put out. And it's honestly a surprisingly balanced group. The only thing that is a huge red flag, and I didn't think it was going to be as big as it was, is no 2-threat characters. And that has made, like, when we have a 15 and a 16, when I played against Dan, I kind of begged him, and I'm very thankful that he obliged of choosing the 16 threat over the 15 threat, because it's so difficult to make certain thread tiers without that 2-threat in there. I either have to play down 1 or 2 threat or down 1 character. And it sucks. But outside that, it's surprisingly balanced. I have a good number of throws. I have a good number of durabilities. It's only 3s and 4s.
Right.
I don't think that there's a 5-threat 2 or 6 on there at all. But first game I played, I did all 3 threats and 1 4 with Ronin. And then the second game was a 20-threat Crisis. So I was able to go 5 4 threats.
Do you have a 5-threat at all?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
So you're literally just 3s and 4s.
Just 3s and 4s.
That's rough. Okay.
So, and I did, 2 very different lists of the first game to the second game, and it has a surprising amount of versatility. Just, I'm stuck with the Guardians affiliation, which certainly isn't stellar, and I was hesitant to not take it in the first game. Not so much now. Just going with the big hitters and the people that I know can move and will get work done regardless of what I roll.
Have you used the affiliation at all in either game? Between the two
Outside
games?
of using tactics cards that had it, I did use Crew of the Milano, and
Right.
I think that was it.
But the affiliation ability you haven't used at all
No.
because it's
You didn't
bad.
take the other card that comes with Angela for Guardians?
I did take that.
Okay.
lovable misfits. I think.
The
Yeah.
first
I love
game
that
that because I had the affiliation in the first game I played, I didn't have a great opportunity to use it. We were really spread out in that game.
Right.
So it just never really made a whole ton of sense. And it was only Guardians characters too. So I'm usually making the Guardians affiliation with Winter Soldier as a massive needed crutch.
Gotcha.
So he wouldn't count for that either. So it was just Star-Lord and Ronin in that game.
Right. And I will say this. Today, Dallas was streaming over on their Twitch on Atomic Mass Games Twitch stream. He was painting a blade, which that model just looks even more
Yeah,
incredible.
for real.
Getting to see like somebody actually putting paint on that model, that I cannot wait for. I think it's August 11th. It was announced or something, somewhere
Whatever
around
that
there.
second Friday is.
Right. So in November when it actually gets released in the States.
As long as the shipment doesn't get lost.
Right, as
Right,
long as they
yeah.
don't get that boat stuck again.
Yeah.
It's somebody had asked like, "Hey, I got a tournament coming up. What would you recommend me bringing, or something like that?" And he says one of the best things I think that any casual player or any player getting into this game said. He goes, "Oh, I'm not the guy to ask. I literally just bring the models that I love to bring and just love to run unaffiliated stuff."
Yeah.
He's like, I have my characters that I love using over and over and over again, and I just kind of just have the most fun doing that. Have you found that when you stopped struggling to make your affiliation, you're just running unaffiliated, that it actually takes a little bit of pressure off of you in game, or do you find that you are now having to make up for not having that extra rule that you get? Granted, you don't have a good extra rule anyway.
Right. So yeah. So very thankfully, because I don't know if thankfully is the right word, but because the Guardians affiliation was the only option I have, between that and unaffiliated, there's really not a huge difference, because chances of me using that are pretty low anyway. Because and Taylor and I's our team tactics lists were pretty similar. We both took, for the most part, really strong, always useful. Unaffiliated things, brace for impact, bitter rivals, I think med pack and stuff like that. So it's things you can use, and you are not tied to any particular affiliation with it. I think that's honestly the biggest boon, is that whether I run it or not, affiliation is not going to make much of a difference. But yeah, knowing if I'm going up against Avengers that they're going to be doing stuff for cheaper like all the time, or I'm terrified of playing Dani and A-Force because she has big, tough, heavy things, and any little chip damage I do with Bullseye is just going to make somebody else stronger.
Yeah.
Not super excited about that.
Right. It's super fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both, but honestly, I'm very happy with the characters that were on that list.
Interesting.
And it's interesting because two of the people on your list I also have, and I ran against Dan. Hella, who I adore, absolutely love her.
Yeah, I slept on her for so long,
my
and then
God.
I got my butt beat by her. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, maybe that won't be so bad. Yeah, she's a beat stick.
Yeah, I
She's
really,
good.
really like her. Every time I've used her, in the 3 games that I've played ever or whatever, she does so much work for me, and I love that.
Yeah.
And Gamora's all right.
So
She's-
in both of our games this week, Gamora had absolutely clutch plays with
Yep.
martial
Yeah.
prowess.
Yep.
being
Yeah,
able
she
to
really did.
take people out.
Yep.
I think it is the best evidence, especially for people who don't want to listen to competitive play, but it's always the loudest noise, especially when people are talking, that every character, when they get to do the thing that they are designed to do, is a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
When you get to use the soul tokens on Hella and she gets to go beat face, Hella's not
10
good.
dice? Yeah.
Hella's
Yeah,
not
man.
good if you let her sit on an objective. She's not
Right.
designed
Yeah,
to
she
be
is
that.
absolutely wasted on that.
Right.
And I always forget she's 4s across the board
Yes.
for defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Crazy
strong.
good.
Yeah.
So strong. The only thing that honestly hurts her is that she's only got one affiliation,
Right.
which is Asgard. And I think the same thing with Gamora. Gamora is a meat grinder, but people don't tend to play her meat grinder.
She's got nothing defensively.
Right.
Right.
That's the issue.
And her
Except for
rapid
martial
fire.
prowess.
Right.
Right.
Yes, that's
Right.
very true.
Yeah.
Except for
But
and
that's what also makes her a meat grinder. You know what I mean? Like she's
Yes.
doing damage back to you.
Yep.
and her
Right.
spender, while it has a pretty obtainable rapid fire or second attack on it, has to target somebody else.
Right.
Right.
So like there were several times where I was like, oh, I'll get up there, I'll use this, and then I'll be able to take this character out. And it's like, oh, it has to be someone else.
Yeah.
So it sometimes reduces the effectiveness that you're doing it, but it's her only range longer attack than 2.
Sure.
So
Where I see her excelling, especially in this league specifically,
yeah.
all right.
So the dog under the table was pulling the cord and it was under his neck. He was trying to walk away with my head.
Wasn't sure what.
Right, the dog under the table.
Yeah.
Right, Taylor.
Taylor, get out of there.
Like I look at the mind control scenario. Gamora being able to go attack any your two people that are on that center objective holding the amplifier, absolutely terrifying. And I think that a lot of the time competitive players look for every character to be a Swiss Army knife. That's how you have to play these characters. And the thing that I love about Taylor and the way he plays is he does not look at things as Swiss Army knives ever. The way he looks at stuff is, this is the one thing that this character is extremely good at. I'm going to exploit that, and I'm going to throw you off guard because nobody is thinking that way. Because I know for a fact that the way I look at it, everything needs to be Swiss Army knife in my book. And it drives me nuts when I can't Swiss Army knife with models that aren't Swiss Army knives. You know what I mean? So, by the way, this stream is sponsored by Swiss. And you can't miss. You know what I'm saying? So that's the league so far.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with the league. Please head over to twitch.tv/professional casual network. Give us a little follow ski. 7 p.m. every Monday. You can watch the rest of those games. Also, real quick, head over to beardeddragongames.online. Use promo code PCME10 to get yourself 10% off your order over there. Get all your Marvel Crisis Protocol needs. All of the pre-orders are up on the site for all the Spider Foes. All of the Mystic characters are up, or they will be up because I've said it and it's canon now. So go over there. You get a pre-order discount on top of your PCME 10 discount, meaning you're going to get such an amazing discount. It's hard to find discounts like this anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, that you can also support a local game store with.
Right. You're going to support a local game store, and you're going to support us in the process. This is one of the easiest ways because there's nothing better than supporting something and getting something in return as well.
Yeah.
Head over there and do that. Also, check out patreon.com/professional casual, and you can, for as little as $1, get access to our Discord, one of the hottest Discords ever.
So hot.
Yeah.
It's always popping.
Is one of the best communities out there, and we are trying to get a bigger MCP community going on in there if possible. So, that being said, we got a card drop.
We did get a card drop.
We got one of the best card drops. I can't believe I made it through all that, to be totally honest with you.
Been waiting, chomping at the bit.
One of the best characters in the game ever. I'm fully on board here.
Yes.
I'm ready. I am all in on Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I still have no fucking idea who he is, but I'm so on with Moon Knight.
I posted some pretty good TikToks in the Discord to
you
get
did.
people up to speed.
Of course, patreon.com/professional casual and get access for as little as $1. You get access to that freaking awesome TikTok drop.
Yeah.
One of the real quick, I think my favorite TikTok that you dropped out of all of them for Moon Knight easily has to be the fact that Taskmaster refuses to learn how to fight him and beat him because he just knows that Moon Knight's whole technique is just taking 100 punches to throw one.
Yeah.
And the fact that Taskmaster's like, no, if I do that, I will die.
Yeah.
I am going to die. So I just don't even worry about him. And I just absolutely love that info. I'm kind of all in on Moon Knight. Let's talk about his card.
I love it.
We're talking Moon Knight, Mark Spector himself.
So yeah, so we were pretty on point with this. So he's 5 health both sides, medium movement, size 2, threat 3, 3s across the board for defense. The only thing I think we were a little not weirded out about is we didn't know when they described in the panel to play whether him being able to re-roll dice on his staff attack was going to be built into the actual staff attack itself, or was going to be an effect of one of the multiple personalities that he might have as the innate.
Right, because it said it's an innate ability. We thought it might just be like a separate superpower.
Yeah. So, and it turns out that the way they did end up working that, and jump right to that, because that's kind of the huge part of this character, is at the start of each one of his activations, you roll a die. Based on the results of that die, you get sometimes a benefit, or if it's a failure, nothing. On a crit, he may make an additional action this turn that must be a move action.
So good.
On a wild or hit, the next attack made this activation adds 2 dice to this attack roll, which I think a lot of people are going to be wanting all the time,
Yes,
especially when we describe the bow staff later.
Yeah, especially both staff.
If the result is a block or a blank, he gains 1 power.
Not bad.
Stealth
it.
and wall crawler. I mean, all great stuff here. His bow staff attack, range 2, strength 4. It's one of his builders because he does kind of have 2 here. Gains power equal to the damage dealt. He may re-roll any number of the attack dice for this attack.
Not bad.
And it staggers if you roll a crit, wild, and hit.
Ooh.
So that is going to be a little hard to get, but if you are rolling well on your multiple personality innate,
Right.
and you can re-roll any of the dice in that attack, I think that this will be one of those things. You certainly can't rely on it.
No.
But when you roll
No.
that 2 extra dice, you are going to be running at someone to bow staff that.
Right.
Every time
So-
you already have dazed them.
Yep.
So it's actually super important to kind of, and we're casual people here. We're a casual gaming group. We don't care for crunchy math hammer stuff.
Right.
But I do want to crunch a little bit here, just to kind of point out how good this power actually is. 37.5% of the time, you are either going to get 2 additional dice, or you're going to get 1 extra energy on the character. There is 2 hits and a wild on a die, and there's 2 blanks and a shield on a die, right?
Yes.
So 37.5% of the time, you're either going to get 2 attacks, or you're going to, or 2 additional dice on an attack, or you are going to get 1 additional energy.
Yeah.
I think once again, AMG is kind of overvaluing a movement,
Yeah, I don't
because they put that on a
necessarily-
critical, and I think because it says the next attack made, so it's only the first attack you get to do. So that does handicap it a little bit. I think if it was every attack that he got to do, so he got to go for both, he would be broken at a 3, even though it's a total randomized situation. I like it as the person playing it.
Right.
That the skull, there's just no effect. Because he is kind of handicapped if he doesn't get anything.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not good at 3. You look at his stat cards and you just go, wow, not great.
He's using his builder, or he's
Right. Which even then, I think the
scratching
throwing
off a lottery ticket.
the throwing croissants, I think, is way better overall. But let's talk about the bow staff first, and then we'll get into throwing croissants. Croissants, actually. A lot of people don't know that.
Crescents.
No, you would think, but no, it's croissants.
Okay.
So the trap built into this attack is that stagger.
yeah.
So he gets energy, or he gets power based on the amount that is dealt. He's only doing 4 typically,
Yeah.
unless he gets 2 extra on that first swing. That's actually not bad. That's
No,
pretty
it's not.
solid.
Yep.
He gets to re-roll any number of the attack dice.
And this is where the trap comes in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to roll a crit
Yep.
and a wild,
Yep.
multiple wilds, and you're going to be like, I should re-roll some things that I know are already hits to try to fish for that stagger.
Yep.
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to lose.
It's worth it though, because stagger's so good.
It is so good.
Giving up 1 damage
and put on a
stagger.
builder nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's there, but man, is that a trap? Like, I already see it a trap that I'm going to fall for every time. I just go, oh, a piece of candy, and I'm going to fall under that box every time.
Yep.
Piece of candy.
But I mean, come on, a 6 strike builder potentially on a 3 strike character is dope.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
really good.
And the fact that he can just re-roll any of the attacks is super good too. Because where I like him. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Throwing croissants. He gains 1 power just by doing it.
Yeah. Standard pistol builder, kind of.
I like the idea that he's going to get a 6 strength throwing croissants if people aren't within range 2 of him.
Yeah.
Which is actually super awesome because we're talking about he's got stealth.
He does.
So
Yeah.
keeping him at range 3 and then getting the 2 extra dice to throw croissants at people, that's awesome.
Really.
A 6 strength throwing thing?
So very specifically, I do think he is going to be an incredible objective holder. He's cheap. Wasting his activations, holding points is certainly not the worst thing in the world.
Yep.
He has the ability to do damage with his spender, but being able to attack at a range 4, being able to reliably build power with it because it does have rapid fire and automatically gains 1 power after the attack is resolved, and the Chosen of Khonshu,
Right.
where if someone is trying to move him with a mystic attack, you have your Jean Grey, your Doctor Strange, your MODOK, who's literally has the big bad range 5. I'm gonna hit you and I'm gonna move you, especially when Dr. Robotnik comes out. What's her name? Cassandra Nova. Being able to be
I'm really excited about that, by the way.
I'm super stoked about that. So make sure to stay tuned there because just so excited. But the fact that he cannot be advanced, pushed, or placed by the effects of the attack is actually great as a stationary objective taker.
Yeah.
And when you are on Gamma Shelters or one of these Infinity War Crisis Eye, where you are in fact hunkered down on something, his spender is awesome. Avatar of Khonshu, range 3, strength 7, 4 power to activate, but after the attack is resolved, you can place the character within 1 of the target character. So if you were able to get somewhat close to the objective, but not close the distance all the way, you can get up and on there, and then it automatically pushes. No wild, any character size 2 or less before damage is dealt may be pushed away from this character. So I guess you can't get on there and push off.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to be careful where you push them because they
Yeah.
get pushed, then you place him.
Yep.
Because the push is before damage is dealt, and the place is after the attack is resolved.
That's actually still kind of great, though. So you're only pushing them small. So to be able to push them off a objective and put yourself on it should be pretty reliable. You really got to mess that
they're
up.
barely towing that zone to be within
Yeah.
1, you're pretty good. So I like that. It's a great ability. 4 power is not too difficult to
Hold
get
on.
on him.
And it's Mystic.
Explain
with
that
throwing
again to me
presence.
like I'm a 5-year-old.
So you place yourself after the attack is resolved. So the
Right.
push happens first
Sure.
because it happens before damage is dealt.
Right.
So you push everyone off of the thing, and then you place yourself within 1 of the person you've targeted. So if you push them too far away from the objective to
Oh,
be
I see
within
what
1
you're
of it,
saying. I see
it might be difficult
Okay.
for you to tow in. But
Gotcha.
I mean, shoot them at a diagonal and you're fine.
Right. Yeah, well, a short is the same length as a 2.
Yes.
And then base is the base size. A base size is a size 1. So you should always be still within range, depending on how you put them in.
Yeah.
But just make sure you're flush. You don't kitty corner it on the thing. You should be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And technically, it just says, place within range 1. Okay. Yep. Okay. I like it. I'll never use it.
Yeah. Fair.
More importantly, because maybe because he doesn't totally have a ton. I mean, there's so much mystic on the board now as it is.
Yes.
Everybody at least has some way of bringing a mystic character in. So yeah, absolutely. Chosen of Khonshu is really good. When a character is targeted by a mystic attack, you may use the superpower, add 2 dice to their defense rolls against that attack. The character cannot be advanced, pushed, or placed by the effects of this attack.
Yeah.
That is great. That super handicaps a lot of people who are going to try to mind control you off of
Yes.
points.
A great point that got brought up by Derek is that Moon Knight in a list with Thanos.
Yeah.
Being able to buff that attack even more. 6 to 8 rerolls
Yeah.
on a bow staff attack is incredible. I think
Yeah.
he has a great spot there.
It's really good. You're
Or what is
have
it,
a really
Unearth?
good chance of getting that stagger.
Or Unearthly Rage, I think, adds 2 more dice to it. Like,
Yeah, something like that.
I
So
mean, you
you
could
Death,
really-
Death Decree and
yeah.
Unearthly Rage or whatever. Yep. So multiple personalities. Obviously, this is where the character shines. Getting the access to that. He has stealth, so it makes him kind of even more durable in that
Yep.
sense. And he's got wall crawler, which
Yeah.
is great.
Sweet.
Which is
gravy.
super awesome. He needs that too. I am in love with this character. Nothing changes when he flips.
Nope.
He's 5 and 5, which is pretty solid. 10 health is a solid 3, I think.
Very typical.
I don't have any issues with these 4 builders,
No.
especially because he can potentially add 2 dice to his first attack. I don't really see me using Avatar or Khonshu unless I absolutely need to move him.
Right.
And he's just got a ton of power sitting on him because it's the one time you didn't bring in a Mystica character. You know, it's the
Right.
one time you didn't bring Scarlet Witch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Well, that's what's nice is if he's not up against a bunch of Mystic people and he doesn't have to use that defensive, he's gonna have the power for Avatar of Khonshu, and
Yeah.
that's a good attack.
That's super fair. That's actually super fair.
It's the only other thing that costs power on his card.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that. I like that he doesn't have a ton of spending. That
Mm-hmm.
you know where he's not going to be power starved. He's not going to be power hungry. Because he's just super balanced. In fact, you may struggle to spend power on him. To be honest,
He's probably gonna be sitting on a bunch of power,
Yeah.
especially when you have roughly a third of a chance to get a power every turn.
right.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting. Maybe you do play Avatar Country just to get him in range of places,
Right.
stuff like that. It also depends on how you're going to play him, which kind of brings me to my next question: what affiliations do you want to see him in? All right, let me rephrase that. Where do you see yourself putting him when you bring him to the table?
I like him in X Force. Well, I guess he doesn't really need the reroll for the bow staff because he already has that.
Yeah.
So
And you're not
never
fishing
mind.
for anything else
mind.
outside of maybe fishing for a hit on the rapid fire. But I actually like to see him in Sam Wilson Adventures.
I was just gonna say that.
Okay.
Extra movement, getting him into place to be able to do his thing, I think is probably a great spot for him.
Sure.
He doesn't need power. He doesn't need cost reduction on abilities. He just needs mobility. I think that's... and he's already got a ton, but the fact that he has stealth and wall crawler, I mean, for a 3 with medium movement, he's already in a pretty good spot. I think that's really the only way to make those things even better.
I like him in Criminal Syndicate too.
Oh, yeah,
Just
for
saying
sure.
that he's a good to sit on an objective. If he counts as 2, then
Yeah.
all right, good. Yeah, like it.
Spider foes, honestly.
So
He can actually use that power?
accurate. There's a better spot for him. I think is going to be where we're going to see him all the time. That's Web Warriors. Because all allied characters may re-roll 1 defense die. Additionally, they may modify and re-roll skull results when holding or contesting an objective. He can now re-roll a skull on his bow staff.
Okay, that's really good. I
Yeah.
was
So-
thinking about that second part for models.
Right. So if as long as he's holding, I mean, give him a citizen, give him a spider,
Yeah.
whatever, and then just have him. He's what I want Miles to be, going around just beating the bricks off people. You know what I mean? He's gonna be the 3-threat character that everybody's terrified of, which is super on brand
Yeah.
for him. You know
Absolute
what I mean?
wild card.
They
Yeah,
nailed it.
just beating the bricks off people. Nobody wants to. If Taskmaster doesn't want to fight you, you know that you're doing well for your life.
Yep. I love that too because I'm excited for the stories of and then freaking Moon Knight
Yep.
came out of nowhere.
And
I don't want to go over there. That's Moon Knight, but you're Thanos with 2 gems, right? But that's Moon Knight.
right.
He's gonna stagger me because he's gonna get 6 dice and re-roll them all.
You wasted my time, Gem.
And I think it's super. And I'm telling you right now, if you're a casual player, absolutely take Moon Knight all the time.
Yeah.
He's going to be so much fun. He's going to be infuriating because, again, I also think multiple personalities is absolutely a trap.
Yeah.
You are going to want the thing that you can't have every
Mm-hmm.
time. You need those 2 extra swings. You know what I mean? 2 dice on the swing. You're gonna get movement. Cool. I don't want to move. I'm on a point.
He's going to be
Right.
absolutely as wild cardy for you and your opponent, which is
Yep.
I love him. He's so perfect. He fits so well.
I think they really nailed it, especially they didn't put a drawback there. If there was some kind
Yes.
of negative, that would significantly reduce his playtime.
I'm genuinely surprised because he's a 3-threat character.
Mm-hmm.
I feel and hey, here we are again. Same, new week, same bullshit.
Doing the power creep.
It feels a little power creepy
Yeah.
because there is no negative for rolling a skull.
Yeah, fair.
And man, you know what it should be? It should be if you roll a skull, he loses a power that turn. I think it needs to be extra punishing.
I'd actually be completely fine with that.
I think-
wouldn't change any feelings that
No.
I have towards the character.
Because ultimately, him losing a power isn't that big of a deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it could potentially be clutch.
Except it'll always be on turn 1 when you really need him to grab an objective.
Yep. Because you're playing Spider Foes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like him as a 3, or Web Warriors. I like him as a 3 because Web Warriors need more 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we think we know he's going to be in Midnight Suns for sure.
Yep.
We know that
hope
he
Avengers.
was on the Avengers at one point because he was hunting Dracula, found out he wasn't in there anyway.
Yeah, so, sorry, later when we talk about Blade, we found out the affiliation ability for the Midnight Suns, which does work great for
Oh
him.
my god, I
love it.
I have never been so excited for a character release. Like I am super budget Summer Charlie,
Yeah.
and I have literally put money aside so I can just get this box when it drops
Mm-hmm.
so
because
excited.
I want both these characters. I want to get them painted up as soon as possible, and I want to pull a Dan and play them before everybody else. You know what I mean? Like I will fight you in physical combat in the parking lot if you try to play them before me.
Both or just Blade?
Yeah, both. I'm running both.
Well, just play Tim that week, and then I can play him the next.
But I want to play Moon Knight.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
the thing, we gotta
technically,
think
there's literally no
this
rule
way.
that says you can't bring the same characters on the same side or on different sides.
That's true.
That's just your dumb rule that you constantly enforce. For
I think
some
it's a
reason.
great rule for streams. Let us know in the comments if you think I'm right, and if you don't, we'll know you were joking.
If it happens once with Moon Knight, I think people will be fine with that exception. Cause
Yeah.
He has multiple personalities. Why would
Right.
he not show up?
I have the
in
cab
a
driver,
crisis.
Mark Spector. You
Jake.
have the millionaire.
Yeah, I'll play
Mark
Jake. You play
Spector.
Mark Spector. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't see a problem here. You know,
I forget what bad guy it was that they were fighting. It was someone that could he was a big buff dude with a bunch of tattoos, and he had some type of mind affecting power. He was like head of a cult or something like that. Fought Moon Knight at one point. He was having a tough time. Moon Knight's usually pretty heavily resistant to mind control and that type of stuff. And he calls out the old cab driver personality to be like, all right, watch this. And he calls that one forward, and he's like, read my mind. Do it. And he did, and the dude was like, okay, I give up. Yep, nope, everyone could go home. I'm fine.
I'm not doing this anymore.
all right,
I don't want to fight this man. I don't want to be near him.
that's super fair. All right, before we move on to our Blade panel to play, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our patrons in the Discord who posted some stuff. Posted some really awesome basing that he did for his Ant-Man and Wasp. I'm talking about Will B. Mohaniker?
I believe,
Mohaniker.
Mohaniker.
Mohaniker. Shout out to Will B. I'm going to start that as a new transition thing. You will get, if you post something dope in our Discord, we'll give you a shout out on the show.
Shout out.
I super love it. And he also got to play a game recently. And his
Yes.
table looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
really good.
super cool. Thanks for posting that in our Discord. Head over to patreon.com/professionalcasual. Little as $1, get access to our really hot Discord for all the shows here at the Professional Casual Network. All right, let's talk about my favorite character that's ever existed. It's Blade.
Who the heck is that?
Oh, man, he looks so good. Not his model and this panel play makes him sound. I'm very excited for this.
So we didn't get a whole ton outside of one of his attacks, I believe, and then one of his innates, which is super cool, and
Vampire Shark.
the new Midnight Suns affiliation ability, but called Bump in the Night. where every member of the affiliation has the ability to spend 1 power during their activation to be placed within range 1 of their current position.
So good.
Stupid good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even. Oh man, I mean,
The timing of it's going to be important. When does this happen? Is it just during an ally's activation? They can do this at any time.
I'm sure it's an
Is
active.
it all at once kind of thing? Like, is it like at the end of the power phase they can do this? Like, I want to know.
No,
I'm
there's
really
only
excited
one
to
way.
see.
There's only one way for that to work, and it's during the character's activation.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never know. They could throw something weird in
and I
there.
think it's
No.
going to be something even to. I mean, I don't think they'll handicap it that much, but maybe they even say like at the beginning of your activation, you may move one, from where you are.
I hope it's just during their activation. You can do it whenever you want, but
Man, I
can
really hope
see
that
it.
they remembered the sentence. You may only do this once per turn, or like once.
Yeah.
Like, this character may only do this once per.
For 1 power, yeah, it's
Yeah.
certainly not.
Because otherwise they're just 1 inch moving, 1 inch moving, 1 inch moving. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like I
that
don't
would
want
be
that.
brutal.
Yeah. And never using an activation or an action. I love it.
Yeah.
It's super good because I was trying to figure out what they would get, and we've been seeing a lot of like
I was going to say,
re-rolls.
you've been calling it for a long time that they continually have been moving towards more and more movement shenanigans.
Right.
And this is probably going to be the peak of that, hopefully.
I think so
Yeah.
because we saw with Sam Wilson's Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
we had movement shenanigans. What was the group before him that came out that had
Well,
movement
Cable,
shenanigans?
but no movement shenanigans there.
yeah.
Oh no, he just gets to move all the time for no reason. Well, that's not true because Cat and Mouse is a X-Force specific card that had movement
Yeah.
shenanigans in it as well.
Yeah.
And like Storm's X-Men gets some movement shenanigans in there too.
Yep.
I am hoping this is kind of. I think Dormammu is going to be the last of the movement shenanigans.
Yeah.
I think whatever his affiliation ability is going to be is just going to be. You get to just teleport anywhere on the freaking board. You know what I mean? But let's talk about what they said specifically about Blade himself.
So the other big deal there is his other innate called Vampiric Immortality, where for every bleeding target, friend or foe, which is a huge part of it,
Yes.
within range 2 of him, he removes 1 damage by spending a power.
Which is super great.
Yep.
Friend or foe is brutal. It makes Bullseye awesome again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because he just dishes out bleed all over the place. The idea that there's going to be a ton. I mean, there's so many characters that cause bleed anyway. I think Hawkeye's going to fit in there great now.
Oh,
yeah.
Because he can cause
Hawkeye
bleed on
MVP.
people. This is
And
gonna.
I might have read that wrong too. It just says
Yeah, he
currently
gets 1
suffer
power and heals a damage. I think is what it said.
rewards the day. Yeah, with 1 power and yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good.
Even better.
Yeah, and it's for each other character, friend or foe. So if he is just surrounded by people bleeding, we often say like I'd rather just ignore the bleed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'll just take the damage because if depending on your character, you might want them to flip because they get
Yeah.
bonkers on the other side, Black Bolt, Green Goblin, things of that nature. Or if you're She-Hulk, where you can take that chip damage and it doesn't bother you, it gets scary now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is the second character now where we've seen where having conditions on you is terrifying. We have Web Warriors out with a ton of people, so all webbed up, having slow on you is terrifying. Omega Red's out with where poison is going to be bad if you have it on you. Now we have a character where bleed is really bad if you have it on you.
I like it.
I like the idea that they're starting to build characters leaning into you putting specific conditions on people,
Yes.
and it's always super thematic.
And in the Defenders affiliation, we have, like you said, Hawkeye. Wolverine's in Defenders too, right?
Yes, he is.
So I mean, I'm expecting
Wolverine's
that.
everywhere, man.
Yeah, that's very true.
He's the best at what he does.
Those 3 I see being mainstays in that list.
Yeah.
And you throw in Bullseye because why wouldn't you? He's good, Hawkeye.
Well, I mean, like, yeah. But also, like, he now has more than just holding a position or holding an objective and running with it.
Yeah.
He now can. And the way I see it, like cinematically, right, is Blade just looks at Bullseye and goes, "You know what to do," and he's just running, and Bullseye is just throwing crap.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And trying to bleed people, and as Blade is just essentially running up and just draining the essence and blood, and he's just killing everybody else. Like, cinematically, I love that idea that the team is built around kind of like Blade wants people to bring bleed, and it's just like here's the tank machine of Blade.
Correct.
Needs everybody to just feed him. I super love it, and it makes you have to waste an action
Correct.
because you do not want to heal Blade at all.
And here's the thing. I am excited for the tactics card that is inevitably going to come out for him. That is either going to be some type of whirlwind to add bleed to everyone within range,
Yep.
or some type of attack or some other ability that is... There's going to be something there. I'm
We know
stoked
the
for what it
names
is.
of
Like,
the tactic cards.
like all webbed up, but with bleeding.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Like,
Pretty much.
Well, we know he comes with Banishment, Bats the Ghost Hound, and Siege of Darkness are in that box.
okay.
I bet you that Siege of Darkness is probably his.
Yeah.
His like all webbed up, but specifically for him, I wouldn't be
Sounds
surprised.
I could completely see it literally being all webbed up, too. Just hamstringing a bunch of people. Now they're bleeding and they're slowed.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and he gets 2 additional dice for every character he attacks that has bleed on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if that's the case,
God.
is he a 4 into a 5? Like he absolutely has to be a 4.
I think he's going to be a 4.
I
I
mean,
don't
just-
want to see another 5 leader.
I don't
think he's going to be 5. I think he's going to be a 3 or a 4 for sure.
I think he's going to be a 4 because Moon Knight's the 3 in that
Yeah.
box, and typically they don't do the same threat level in the same
Kind
box.
of, they've been throwing us off with that recently. Like
It's all
Luke
over
Cage
the
and Iron
place.
Fist were both 3s,
Yeah,
and
that's
Sin
true.
and
Drake
Viper were
and
both
Nova
3s,
were
and
both 5s.
yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
over.
all right, that's a fair point.
But you're right. I think he is very considerably better than a Moon Knight.
yeah,
And
he's the
should be.
affiliation leader. You know what I
Thematically,
mean?
he should cost more than Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Like he should be.
He is
better.
a superhuman.
Yeah. So I just looked up Bats the Ghost Hound. Sounded very specific. Bats is literally a ghost basset hound.
Oh,
He's a little ghost dog.
Huh.
Like Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas.
I bet
So
he'll
I
be
can't
able-
wait to see what that does. He looks super cute.
bet he'll be able to ignore stealth if the target's bleeding.
Because he's like,
You can track him.
That'd be super dope. Okay.
Makes a lot of sense. Super thematic.
Yeah.
Fits
Um,
nice.
So we think a 5 strike that bleeds on a wild or auto bleeds. Range
For his
2.
builder,
Yeah.
I want to say it auto bleeds, but it probably will be on a wild on a 5 builder.
I feel like that's a little strong if it's an
Yeah.
auto bleed.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, he's not bullseye, you know?
right. And then do we think that he's going to be able to throw stuff at a 4 or throw stuff at a 3? Because he's obviously going to have his blade throwy awesome.
Yeah, I think he's throwing at a.
for a blade?
Yeah.
I don't see him having a throw, but.
No, his weapon. His weapon in general. Like
the throwing glaives.
Yeah,
they
the
call
glaives.
it?
That's what they're called.
Yeah.
I bet it'll be pretty much exactly the same as the Moon Knights.
You
Rapid
think it'll be
fire.
range 4?
Yeah, I was surprised his was range 4.
Yeah.
Since most pistols are range 3, but okay. Yeah,
It's not a beam,
I
you
could-
know?
I mean, there's no skill in using a pistol. You got to be as on the ball as bullseye. You know what I mean?
to throw stuff.
To throw things and throw it far.
I could see his being only 3, just to make him a little different from Moon Knight. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it works better at a 3 because I think him being able to throw things at a 4 makes him even more terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, we've yet to see a strike lower than a 4, right? Like
Correct.
a 4 strength.
right,
Maybe he's the first one that has 3. I think it's definitely going to have Ricochet for sure. Because he's that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was that he threw it and it would just bounce and hit everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it'll probably be a 3 with Ricochet would be my guess.
That fits.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then 4, and I don't think he's going to get power from it.
Yeah. No, he won't.
No,
But it will probably bleed.
but it will probably bleed on a wild. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously he's going to have just a stupid spender of an attack.
has to be is that
Knight of the Dampier.
yeah,
Right.
it's a mystic attack. Or the attack is called Mystic Knight of the Dampier, which is confusing. Strength
Yeah.
7, if they're bleeding, he can reroll any number of attack dice before making a medium in advance. And if they're not bleeding, that gives them bleeding. So I think he's gonna. It looks like he has 3 attacks. They're all gonna have bleed.
Mhm.
And then Knight of the Dampier will be better if they're already bleeding, or Mystic Knight of the Dampier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it.
Well,
I
and
don't
he
think it
gets
would be
that.
capitalized if it was a Mystic type attack. I'm not sure.
I-
Oh, no, because physical damage up top is capitalized. So
Yeah, I assume that it's actually going to be Mystic.
I really like the idea. I'm wondering if he's going to get something. I think my assumption is if they're not, he's going to get the reroll if they're bleeding, and if they're not bleeding, then he puts the bleed condition on them. I like the idea that he gets a medium advance,
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
and it's very specific to a medium advance.
Mhm.
Do you think he's going to be a long mover?
No,
I think it'll be medium.
You think he'll be medium?
I think he'll be medium.
All right.
I would be.
I would shit bricks if he was a long mover. Holy crap,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
terrifying.
he's
That makes a
power
solid 4 for
territory.
me.
Yeah.
for sure. Do you
So
think he's gonna have stealth?
yes,
Yeah, for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's really good at
He
hiding in the
bumps
shadows.
in the night.
Yeah, but he already has that.
He's like Darkwing Duck, man.
Darkwing Duck.
well, he's the terror that flaps in the night.
Oh yeah, good point.
So
Plus, also,
Darkwing Duck probably could be
depending
on
on-
Midnight Sun's affiliation though.
Yeah, true. Depending on
So good.
which arc you read, Dracula was his dad. So,
Mm-hmm.
so at one point, Doctor Doom was his stepdad.
That's awesome.
That's yep.
Yep,
Yep.
it was a thing that happened. It was super weird. But he shows up to what's the place that Doctor Doom owns? No.
Latveria.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Yo, you got my mom? Where's my mom?" And Doctor Doom's like, "Look, it's not what you think. I'm curing her vampirism, and I did it. I did it, and now you can have it." He was like, "Really? Like how?" And then they don't say it out loud, right? Because it is a comic. But Doctor Doom pretty much just goes, "With my dick," like 100%.
Right.
Like that's how I did it.
The old WMD.
Yeah. And then Blade beats the bricks off of him for a little bit, and then he's just like, no, here you go. I've cured you. Now go back to your own place.
Yeah, Doom's got all sorts of mother stuff. He had an
Yep.
awesome team up with Strange.
Yeah.
Trying to get his mother's soul back from Mephisto. That's like a quintessential Reed, I feel.
Yeah.
But
And then Reed fixes him.
Mhm.
Fixes his face finally. After all, it was a really emotional moment.
yeah.
Almost made it on a bracket over at Elite Eight Showdown.
Ooh.
Most
Heartfelt comic moment.
yeah, or whatever it was.
Ooh.
Yep. Anything else this week?
This week, yeah.
Oh yeah, there is. I just remembered what it was.
Yeah, if you just finished hour 1, get ready.
Here we go, hour 2, cranking up. I am hyped for this.
So we got all of the stuff for the Separation Anxiety mission.
Oh, so good.
We
I
are
can't
going to
wait.
be playing it next Friday at 1 p.m. On the Twitch, which is going to be Friday, July 30th, 1 p.m. Go over there, make sure to follow to watch us play that. That will be myself, Dan, Danny, and Big Chuck.
Because it's a 4-player free for all.
Because it is a 4-player free-for-all.
Here it is. Everybody's been asking for it. Are there going to be multiplayer ways to play this game?
Yes.
And you got it. Holy crap, this is wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you might be thinking, oh my god, this must be like an APOC level game on time length. No, it's not. I think this game is going to go super fast. It is fast paced. Lot of people getting the crap kicked out of them.
Yes.
So let's go over exactly what everything is going on in this.
So map is very basic. There are in the very center of the arena you have a Clintar beacon. This is going to be one of the biggest. This is the King of the Hill piece here.
Right.
This is something that you can interact with and pick up, and whoever's holding it at the end of the cleanup phase will be scoring a ton of points. The way that you score those points is by going to one of 4 canisters that are scattered out throughout the map. The premise here is that a truck transporting a bunch of symbiotes has crashed, some of the canisters are damaged, and some symbiotes have gotten out. At those canisters, by interacting with them, you can pick up pretty much any symbiote that's ever been in Marvel Comics. There are, I believe, 16.
Say 14 or 16, something like that.
Yeah, I do think it is 14 because there are also 2 sonic rifles that you can pick up. So you're going around in turn order. It's randomized at first, and then based on when you've run out of activations, you then gain priority in order for the next round. But interacting with a canister immediately puts a symbiote on you. If a symbiote is taken off of you, if at any point you would drop that token, it immediately starts moving towards someone else and tries to get on them.
Such a good image.
There's an ability that everyone has, or an interact, that's just called, I think, Willing Host. Yes. Where characters do not have to pay to interact during the mission at all.
I like that it's, quote, willing hosts.
Correct. So
That's really cool. You don't have to pay to interact. That frees up. Because these things are going to be hopping off and on people all the time,
Yep.
It's going to free up power because you only have 11 threat.
You do. So everyone, only 11 threat. 44 on the board, but it's a slugfest. So because it's a free-for-all, everyone is trying to get as many symbiotes as you can on you. You can only have one at you at a time. During the cleanup phase, you get 1 victory point for having one. You get a victory point if you are securing one of the canisters that they come out of. But if your team is also controlling the Clintar beacon, you also get an additional 2nd victory point for each symbiote that you have. One of the things that can be drawn from the deck when interacting with the canisters are sonic rifles, which gives you a beam 5, strength 5 energy attack, where if you roll a crit in a wild during that attack, you force off symbiotes from people.
So good. I love there's like equipment in this with the symbiotes and the guns. Wicked cool.
After they are knocked off of you, or if they are just out and about, because they creepy and crawly out of these canisters at their own rate as well, they move all over the board, going in turn order, everyone moving one of the symbiotes until they've all been placed within one of their current location. If they end within one of their current location, if there's a character within that range, they automatically use them as a new host. If they already have a symbiote on them, they fight. The character that has the symbiote on them takes damage, gains power from it, and then whichever symbiote wins, they are now holding, and the other one falls off. Super rad.
Yeah. So I really, really like this. Because it's a new fun way to play. It gets a bunch of us hanging out, getting to do something different. The game plays totally different than how a typical Crisis game would go.
Yes.
And that it's what I love. Beating the bricks off people. Teaming up with my buddy and beating up an orphan kid, Brooklyn style. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do in this game. That game is not this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More often than not. So I'm really excited about it. The 11th threat, it makes sense because there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
If it was anything more than 11, it would not be fun after a while.
I just kind of wish it was 12, but I think that I'm sure they kind of done the math and figured how 11 limits so much more. You can't take 3 4s.
You can't take She-Hulk and Hulk. I mean, that's
actually
they had to
super
outlaw,
fair.
really.
Yeah.
Wow.
And also, what's really interesting about it is the way priority works. In that you kind of determine priority, and then the way it activates, you shift, but you could potentially lose priority in where you are. And I really like that as a concept.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun when we jump into it. Do we want to go over what each symbiote can do?
It's a lot to go over, so we can just kind of pick out a few. But what the symbiotes do is they normally give you an innate ability, and then either a reaction or a new attack, or some other type of effect. They are super varied. I don't know if any stuck out to you guys, but like Anti-Venom I thought was super cool. So for an action, and it's super good that this costs an action, for 2 power, he can heal the character that he is on, or another one within range 3, removing up to 2 damage or a special condition. And you can use it multiple times. Each character can only be affected by it once. But if you have power, you got a Moon Knight on the board, just steeped in extra power.
You got a Punisher who doesn't have an open target, but is just sitting on a ton of power. You know what I mean?
Also gives you immune to poison.
Gross.
I find it interesting too. They recommend playing with more terrain than usual, specifically more size 2 to 3 terrain.
Yep.
Just to
throw more crap at people.
throw stuff. I guess maybe slow some characters down a little bit. Really cool stuff.
And when I was looking at it, what I liked was Mania.
Oh, I just got to that one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mania seems awesome, mainly just because of the emo hair. It's a nice throwback to a Spider-Man 3. But that one is just ridiculous, I think.
Character speed is long. Additionally, during the power phase, this character gains 1 additional power.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Guess what Kingpin's going to be doing? Running long and throwing shit at people now. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Yeah.
And that's what I love.
Crossbones! Oh, man. I love the idea of a long moving crossbones the
I
whole
was
game.
thinking about
Long
doing Criminal
Crossbones?
Syndicate. I like
Yeah.
Crossbones.
Oh.
Yeah. The other one I love is Mayhem. Gives you a 2 power pounce. And you add 1 die just flat to this character's attacks for each damage token it has.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So when you interact with a canister, you draw a card from the deck, so it's random. You don't get to choose what symbol.
When they
you
start
get.
their
Correct,
random.
yep.
Okay, I just wanted to double check that there.
And what is
You played at 16 victory points, by the way, too.
right? So typical. And it is definitely going to feel like an absolute
Grab bag.
grab bag and just fist fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it is going to literally be okay. Let's get into what is going to happen on this game.
Yeah.
What do we have to do? She's not here. We're gonna have to team up together and beat the shit out of Danny, right? Because like she's gonna bring She-Hulk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I mean, almost it. This also encourages you to just not play affiliation. Just bring the characters you want to bring.
Yeah.
It's only 11 threat. You might as well just play whatever you want, you know, and not worry about that. And then just how many? You still get the same level, same amount of tactics cards, right?
You get 3.
So you only get 3, which is even more important to point out.
Yep.
So it's almost maybe not even worth trying to build an affiliation. Just bring the characters you want to bring. This is the time to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you
Very
don't
fair.
have to worry about winning this game necessarily. You can just bring 11 points of just face smashers.
Correct.
11 points.
Yeah.
I might bring Ghost Rider and then a bunch of 2s. And just do the feeding Ghost Rider thing. Because there's
Oh, that sounds fun.
he needs people to get hurt around him, right?
Yep.
I mean, this sounds like you're gonna beat the bricks off of each other. So why would I not? You know what I mean? This is almost like Ghost Rider's kind of shtick.
I love Blade in this. So many other
Yes.
targets on the field, just getting in dead center, putting bleed on everything, and
Yep.
just, you got to take me down now.
Yep.
You got to focus fire on me.
Yep.
Same with Carnage.
Yeah.
Just a target-rich environment.
Now it is important to point out that bodies are going to matter. Having the most amount of bodies. Originally, I had said in the chat, shoddy Thanos with all the gems at 11 threat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And when we were looking over this before we started recording, I realized, probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
I will always keep priority. You know what I mean?
You'll be
But
finishing first.
I will definitely be finishing first every time. Shout out to my girlfriend. But I'm so excited for this. I'm starting to figure out now what I actually want to bring.
Yeah.
Because the whole I've been wanting to run Ghost Rider forever, and I just haven't found a way to do it where I thought I would enjoy it. This would be a way for me to just play test him, get to try
for
him out,
sure.
bring a couple of 2s. Honestly, bring a Koye Wong. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Toad 11.
That's it, yeah.
11. Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
so if you're running a 5, it's either 2 3s or 3 2s. Those are,
Yeah,
or a 4 and a 2.
right. You were originally going to run all 2s.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be hard for me not to.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I just want to use Omega Red, so however I can fit him in. So I was thinking probably Criminal Syndicate with like Kingpin, Omega Red, and then a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Maybe Bullseye.
I think Criminal Syndicate actually has a great spot in this because it's a
Yeah.
free-for-all. Having one character that counts as 2 when
Yep.
probably 3 other people are also going to be trying to contest a place makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I just want Omega Red on there.
Yeah.
I'll take bonus tactics, sure.
Yeah. So very legitimately for me, it's probably 3 threes and a 2.
That makes.
Yeah.
Go Cabal. If you're
Or-
still going affiliated, you could go Cabal with Sin. Easy
Yeah.
to get 3 threes and a 2.
I think when having Sam Wilson Avengers honestly plays great here.
That's
People are going to
another
be
good
dying,
one.
being able to move all over the place, pick up stuff, making sure that before the cleanup phase that every single person has a symbiote on them.
Now just processing in my brain how really good War Machine is.
Barrage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking like Armor Wars, Sam, War Machine, Iron Man, and then like Black Widow.
Yeah.
For 2.
That's not a bad, Dan.
That's really that's nasty.
Your commission painter might have to get some work done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously my team is based heavily off of me being terrible at hobbying and having to outsource all of it.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah.
you could also bring Luke Cage Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. I mean, Iron Fist in this kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
If he gets enough energy to do the Iron Fist,
Somebody gonna die.
yeah.
Well, and flying kick is.
Oh
is-
my God, Domino!
Yeah.
Domino
explosive.
dropping grenades everywhere.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
Danny can never know.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Make sure that Danny does not read any of this prior.
Hydra Bob is on my team.
Oh,
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
there's
Are
your
you
2
kidding?
point. There's your 2 point.
Cabal with Sin.
Yeah.
3 threes and Bob.
Yeah,
Trying to make sure you're getting final activation so that Bob doesn't die is
Okay.
going to be really tough.
You can do Sin, Crossbones, Bullseye, and
3.
Bob.
I think that might actually be it. Zemo instead of Crossbones, but that's probably
Go with me on
it.
this. Let's go with me on this. You do Sin,
Mm-hmm.
Hydra Bob for 5, Sinister for 4. That's 9. Then take another 2-pointer. Then you can bring whoever the hell you want because Sinister can just clone somebody off your roster.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
That is terrifying of an idea.
I want to see that work at some point because I didn't try it when I used Sinister, but
I don't. Yeah. Yeah, target rich environment for that beam. You're getting.
Or even if you just want to lean more into just playing Sinister, go unaffiliated, take let's see, Sinister for 4, then you do Wolverine for 3 or Wolverine for 4. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11 with Deadpool,
Yeah.
and then you can rip the DNA and they heal on their turn anyway.
So I haven't played Deadpool or I have played Bob, I think. But yeah, I haven't played with Deadpool yet, so I would really like to do that.
surprisingly good.
So yeah, X-Force, Cabal, or Defenders. Probably
Lot of
unaffiliated Defenders. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
When you first thought 11 points, it's like, oh, there's not that much you can do. Yeah, there still is.
And it makes you think. It makes you crunch. It's like, all right, so what kind of, maybe I don't worry about an affiliation. I just think of like a weird, like a Sinister combo or a Ghost Rider combo, right? Like something different.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I kind of want like Omega Red and Venom and then a 2-pointer just to grab people and move them around.
Yeah.
I mean, reconstructing ideas here. Honestly, Ghost Rider with Nebula Rocket and maybe a Koye to bodyguard for him a little bit.
You know, I do love the Sin and Crossbone double activation and their bomb tactics card. I think on a target-rich
That'd be
environment.
so good.
Oh, and you put it right in the center where we're all
dead
fighting.
center, yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it already.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this is it's getting us to think about different ways to play this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different. And then we might find something and be like, all right, how can I use this now when I go on a regular crisis fight? You know what I mean? I really like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
All of those theme lists that I love to play, I think are great here. Sap Beam list is
Yeah.
awesome.
Gross.
Explosions. Anything that's AoE. I mean, not even for the genetic samples, but or for the cloning banks, but Mr. Sinister for his AoE. Cable for his AoE. I think those
AoEs are about to get real gross in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody needs to make sure Danny never takes Domino in this.
Yeah.
Because she's just going to bounce. I mean, like what? That's 6, 7, 8, 9. Because she's most likely going to... Unless she mixes it up and then just tries to go unaffiliated.
I think that's the team, actually.
Yeah.
Cable, Domino, Deadpool.
Yeah.
You bring the tactics card so that Deadpool can grenade bounce as well.
Yeah. Yoink.
Ew. I don't like it.
It doesn't let you bring Bob, but I like Bob.
You would.
I mean, just think about how much quicker Iron Fist is going to get around with those roller skates, picking up all those canisters.
You should
Automatically just gets a long move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. With that being said, anything else tonight?
That's all I have outside of anyone listening to the podcast version. I'm sorry. I thought I hit record and I didn't, so I'll be extracting the video audio and trying to edit that.
Is that not as good quality?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Hey!
Oh.
If you listen to this far on the podcast version, thanks.
Yeah.
I had a new wish list person, and then I forgot who it was.
Is it Sylvie?
No.
Is it
I mean,
Mobius?
that'd be cool.
Is it Mobius M. Mobius?
So,
Oh, can we get him on a jet ski, though?
Oh, that would be.
do we? I mean, end of the show here. We'll throw up spoilers if you haven't watched it. I finally finished Loki.
Nice.
Yeah.
Overall impressions. How did you guys feel about it?
I loved it.
It's certainly not what I thought it was going to be,
No.
but I enjoyed it. I know people have been kind of ranking them in reverse order of release as far as best to worst, that Loki was the best, followed by Falcon and Winter Soldier, followed by WandaVision. I love WandaVision a lot more than I feel other people must have then, but it's
But it
still
gave you
really
everything
good.
you wanted.
It did. Yeah, it was made for me.
It was made for you. It was Scarlet Witch. You got Wiccan in the universe, and it was weirdly produced. The idea that they played off other shows throughout the
And then Jimmy
inception.
Woo, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just
Super
killed
fun.
it.
Yeah.
People were saying Darcy was the breakout character. Those people literally didn't watch the show because Jimmy
Yeah.
Woo was the breakout character of
Accurate.
that show.
The little things that he does that pays homage to Ant-Man in that was just absolutely fantastic. I will say this: I really liked Loki. It sets up season 2 very well of what I want, but I'm not going to get, which is I want every story of those other Lokis, mainly President Loki.
Yeah.
Because that was one of my favorite comic arcs, was President Loki's comic arc.
They made it seem like that was going to be a much bigger
Yeah.
plot point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. This is what I think happened. I think they thought we're going to tease this as a plot point. We're going to send it. And then
It's a great misdirect. It
yeah,
worked.
it was a great misdirect. It was
was.
super smart. But what they should have done instead is not tease that at all and because when we finally got it, it was just like, oh, that's all they're gonna do with this. You know, it's like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Like I wanted that story because it's so good. It's just so good.
And it's a great bit too
Yeah.
in the show. You backstabbed me while I was backstabbing these guys while they backstabbed this other
right.
alligator. Like
Right.
Loki.
And there was little things throughout the entire show. Obviously, like the Thanos copter
yeah.
was fantastic.
I love all those.
Throg was in there, trapped in like in the jar,
in a jar,
underground.
like buried underground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that too. I will say this, and it is my gripe with pretty much most things out of Hollywood. It was an amazing story that was wrecked by a poorly executed love story. I loved everything about it except for the low-key Sylvie love
Aspect.
love conflict, and that's only because I don't like Loki in those stories. I don't want my Loki to have a love interest. I want my Loki to be a conniving, backstabbing, mischief-making character. Even when he's good, you can still do it good. Look at Eddie Guerrero during wrestling. You know, in the early, literally, that's what he was. Mm-hmm. Lie, cheat, and steal, and everybody loved it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you can make a good face Loki who does bad things.
I do wish they leaned in a little bit harder and maybe gave some more characterization around Loki can only love himself, and that's why she was a love interest.
Right.
Because I feel like there was a lot of potential there that was kind of just swept by very quickly.
That did not even dawn on me until I watched a TikTok explaining it to me. Mm-hmm. And if I hadn't done that, I'd been like, the entire time I just thought, oh yeah, we get it. He only loves himself. You know what I mean? But like, it didn't click with me.
But that's how they presented it. They
like
presented
that
it in a very
about
like, oh yeah,
Right.
That's completely spot on.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame.
I just read
Yeah,
a thing that apparently their initial thinking for the show was gonna be him like time hopping, like we all thought it was gonna be like Quantum Leap, him trying to collect stones from different places.
Yes.
He would get some, and then the TVA would grab him. which I would have absolutely loved, add on 2 or 3 episodes in the beginning of him doing that. But I could see how that'd be kind of bait and switchy, where it's like, this isn't really what the show was about. It's about this instead.
Well,
which I think
WandaVision
I would've
was
been okay with.
had a very
Oh,
drastic,
totally.
different first 2 to 3 episodes.
Right. That's super fair. And they had already started filming Loki when it dropped.
Yes.
So it may have already been done by the time
I
the
think it
WandaVision
was.
dropped.
I'm pretty certain. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really liked it. I still liked it better than Winter Soldier and Falcon Winter Soldier.
I loved that a lot more than I thought I was going to.
So I did.
I thought I was going to be bored to pieces
Yeah.
with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I got into it hard.
It
The
was an
Solid.
action buddy cop that I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
the bad guy was super relatable, had a good cause, ostensibly, but went about it in the wrong way, which makes a perfect villain for me.
Yep.
John Walker also made a perfect villain for me.
Yep.
Like
great.
there was so much.
Does a great job setting up Wakanda Forever, and the fact that Zemo was the person who kills Black Panther, which we didn't know was a thing. Like they kind of like leaked that
Yeah.
in this series, and I felt like it kind of went unrecognized or unrealized. But like that's the reason why Wakanda wanted Zemo.
Yeah.
Was because he kills Black Panther. He kills
T'Challa?
T'Challa. Yeah. It is
totally-
almost a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Completely
Yeah.
missed that. Really?
Yeah. It's a
Because
throwaway
Zemo's the
line.
one that set up the whole Winter Soldier being framed for blowing up that building.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
Zemo.
he killed T'Chaka.
That's what he was saying, the first Black Panther, because he was the Black Panther before T'Challa was.
Oh, what did I say? T'Challa? I'm sorry, T'Chaka. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you meant Chad Boseman's T'Challa was.
No.
I was like,
T'Challa.
they gotta kill him off screen like that. That's crazy. Okay,
No,
that makes more sense now.
No, it was like a throwaway line. No, I'm sorry. No.
I mean, they
okay.
might.
Well, to be honest, wouldn't be a terrible way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, what's the best way to solidify a villain that nobody kind of has any idea about because he
Yeah.
was such an obscure. Like, yes, he did kill the Avengers or whatever he did.
Ever since his dancing scene, everybody loves Zemo.
Right. But what if, like, in Wakanda Forever, he is, like, he is the guy who kills.
Yeah.
I mean, he
T'Challa.
will die off screen because they said they're not going to CGI him. They're not going to recast T'Challa. So, like,
Yeah.
unless they have other footage of him from other movies, Chadwick Boseman's really, I don't think, is going to be in Wakanda Forever. So, when you said that he killed T'Challa, it didn't seem impossible.
Right.
Just
Fair.
surprising that he would die before that movie. So, I just.
But honestly,
They
that's
said
the
it's
way to
very
do
respectful, which is great.
Yep.
it. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for anything Marvel.
And with
anymore.
the
It's
multiverse, you could bring a different Killmonger back. who I
solid. Oh,
felt-
please!
I felt he was a little wasted, unfortunately.
I saw the same thing. I said the same thing. I was like, Killmonger in Black Panther. I usually like Michael B. Jordan and everything he acts, but he felt a little flat to me or something. But then I had one of my really good friends explain. He's like, no, he's like, I live in Brooklyn, and he's black, so he sees that within the culture of that attitude a lot. And then it kind of clicked with me more because obviously, where we live, that is not a thing that we see often. We don't live in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? We don't see that feeling that Killmonger had. And he was like, no, he's like, there are guys that I know in my community that feel exactly how Killmonger felt. So he's like, he did an amazing job, and he was a military dude, so he would be absent of like emotion and things like that. He's like, I think he did a good job. He just
I
gets
loved him in
so outacted by everybody else in that movie that I felt he fell flat.
That's fair.
Yeah, that I think that's the biggest thing.
I thought he did great in that movie. I adored his portrayal of Killmonger. I thought I loved it so much. So when I see the What If trailers,
Yes.
for the next Marvel series where it's Killmonger with Iron Man.
What if he saves Iron Man?
Yeah.
Or saves Tony Stark so he doesn't become Iron Man? Looks super cool.
Yes. So I'm stoked that hopefully might play into something later.
And I do know the What If that's coming out is Boseman's last thing because he recorded all the audio for that animated part.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know what the story is or anything, but I do know that they had all of his audio recorded.
It's what if T'Challa was Star-Lord.
Yeah, what if he got picked up by Yondu instead?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Right? All right.
I mean, all the stories sound amazing. What if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum?
That's
And what
actually that's super interesting.
And
Like
who's
I know
in the
they
Iron
bought
Man
cool.
suit. It's like Hulk in the Iron Man suit or Bruce. Or no, Steve Rogers is in the Iron Man suit.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So wait a minute.
That looks like an iron lung.
That's awesome. So hold on one second. They're gonna do if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum, and in Loki, allegedly Peggy Carter is getting arrested by the TVA in the background. There is a very quick clip
Oh wow.
where there is somebody that looks
I
like
saw
Peggy
something
Carter.
about that, yeah.
Yeah, being taken away by the TVA. Again, shout out to TikTok.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if the What If series is actually universes within the multiverse actually happening?
Oh, that's totally
And the
what it's gonna
TVA
be,
is just
yeah.
like that's how they're gonna do it. Is like here's a TVA file that we had to clear. You know what I mean? And then they tell the story.
I do love the
sure.
the TikTok TVA bits
Yes.
where it'll have some super famous character acting like super out of character and then
Yeah.
cuts to they're really good.
What if we get the TVA explains why Edward Norton is no longer Bruce Banner?
Because they could totally just say that was an alternate
Yeah.
universe because
And-
they barely it's really not referenced at all.
Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Is that
Yeah.
what it's called? Abomination. We finally find out where Abomination was the whole time.
Fighting Wong in a cage match.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And Fing Fang Foom.
Maybe.
And that's Fing Fang Foom. How dare you?
Where was what?
Fing Fang Foom is in that movie.
There's
There's a giant
be okay
dragon
with
who
that.
has a weird, doofy looking face.
underwater. Fing
Oh,
Fang
gross.
Foom is not a water dragon.
I don't like that.
No, he's come out of water. Didn't you ever play Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah.
The first one?
Kaiju.
He comes up out of the water.
I just-
Okay, right now I will punch you in your stupid face if you try to tell me that is not Fing Fang Foom. Because you know what that means? Dum Dum Dugan's going to show up again too. Give me.
Well, in the multiverse.
I
'cause
just
he's dead.
want robotic Dum Dum Dugan. All right, where it's just his head attached to a robot body. That's all I want.
That's the thing.
I want that now too.
Yeah,
That's my wish.
I've never
list
heard
for
about that
MCP now.
before, but I need that, please.
yeah, it's a thing. Dum Dum Dugan was attached to a robot body. I think it was Marvel Zombies. I could be wrong, but I think it was a Marvel Zombies thing.
One of my favorite bits of, I think it was the New Avengers, where Sunfire makes his own Avengers team after
Yeah.
buying AIM and turns it into Avengers idea mechanics.
Uh,
Because they're using the Avengers name and like trademark and all this other stuff.
right.
Shield has to keep an eye on them. So Dum Dum Dugan just shows up one day with Hawkeye in a helicopter, and he's like, "We're supposed to keep an eye on you, so we're gonna infiltrate your ranks with a super secret spy that you won't know it's a spy." And just he introduces Hawkeye, and he's like, "I'm gonna leave Hawkeye here for a while. No reason," and flies away.
Oh man. Anything else before we wrap up here? That was a nice little talk. Let us know in the comments or hit us up on our Facebook if you like this little extra talk. You know, that's the beautiful thing about this game is that it has so much rich and interesting things to draw from, and I like that a lot.
I have two things to talk about after that were left as comments in our last video on the Dormammu huge speculation episode. Jonathan Doyen said that Dormammu is the test for larger models. Sentinels confirmed.
Oh well, yes, please, Sentinels.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. And I even wrote, and shame on you, Dallas. Shame on you. I don't mean that. I'm so sorry. I tagged Atomic Mass Games asking what everybody else is asking. How am I supposed to transport Dormammu, man? Like, how am I supposed to do that? He's too big. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to cut extra foam out, you know?
And Fighting for Frequency, who, by the way,
Dope band. I checked
dope
them out.
band. Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I checked them out. Shout out to Fighting. Is it Fighting for Frequency?
Fighting for Frequency.
Yeah, it's literally everything that I love about like a pop punkish like rock band.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah, it was
on
like
board.
literally right up my alley, and I
Yep.
was like, "Oh, Chuck's gonna love this."
Yeah, I checked them out. I was like, oh yeah, no, these guys are super dope.
But did let us know that Will said on the stream that the Hood would use transform mechanics similar to Ant-Man and Wasp, but there was just so many abilities on the card that they sent it out with
Which
multiple cards.
I'm actually really excited about. Like I like that. I'd
Yeah.
rather have an additional card.
Means
but
I'm gonna love the hood because he's gonna have 8,000 things going on.
right,
Yeah, he's
but
gonna
it
be
does
real
make
busy.
me wonder how the flip's gonna work.
Yeah.
So like,
He might have 2 different forms. I mean, it might be 2 full separate cards with flips.
right. Well, and that's
Based
what
on
I'm
whether
wondering.
he's
But like,
transformed or not.
what if you have a healthy, regular, not possessed, but then you have an injured possessed? Do you get to? Does he get that much health?
No, I think that you would. What if you are healthy or injured? Whenever you transform, you are going to the same side.
You
would
carry
never,
it over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once he's.
I mean,
once
that
he's
would
injured.
that
he's
would make
injured.
sense, but holy crap, if it isn't,
Right. If there's some.
he might be
wonky-
one of the most durable characters. I mean, goodbye Groot's only feat that you think he has, which is he's super durable.
Listen,
you know,
his throughput's incredible. He heals more than the damage that he would receive would give him power to be able to spend.
yeah, he's still not good. Nobody likes to bring him.
I like to bring him. He's only-
Once. You brought him once. Although I'm surprised you haven't ran a root list yet with Sinister, Groot, and Scarlet.
I do like to give him the root.
Throw him the root, baby. Mm-hmm. Learn that from Derek Springer. Anything else before we sign off?
That's all I have.
Cannot remember who my new wishlist person was. Maybe Scorpion.
It's arcade.
That'd be cool.
Give me arcade.
Apocalypse. is
Silver
way up
I mean,
there.
Samurai.
to be fair, I kept Silver Samurai would actually be super dope.
I love
Lady
Silver
Deathstrike.
Samurai.
Yes.
Yeah, give me Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, the one Reaver or whatever that has the tank legs.
Yeah. Oh,
no
Brood.
idea who that is.
Oh,
Or
Brood would be-
Brew?
No, not Brew.
I knew I'd get you going with that one.
He looks like a gremlin, and those scared me as children, as a child. I was only one child, just as far as everyone knows. Yeah, who'd I say? Oh, so do you remember in the X-Men show or in some of the games, there was one of the Reavers, which was like all the semi-mechanical people that would hunt down mutants? Yeah,
Music? Yeah.
He had a yellow tank body.
He was
his
an
2
MP3
arms,
player.
one was a gun hand, and he had a big white mohawk and sunglasses.
Yeah, okay.
He
I
was
do remember
so 90s.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I remember that. Also, shout out to that 92 X-Men cartoon. There is a part where it's Cable in the future, and for some reason he's battling a bunch of War Machine suits.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to be War Machine suits because everybody else, there's like a bunch of essentially literally Terminators. They are exactly Terminators. And then there's like a War Machine suit and somebody else, and I don't remember who the other person is. I was like, why are they fighting? Because he doesn't refer to them as like War Machine or anything like that. And then he teleports to the past and stuff. And I'm just like, why?
Probably
Is your animation that bad?
Or they
Like,
probably just reuse stuff from the Iron Man TV show that was.
oh
on at the
my
same
God.
time.
Have you ever, if you have Disney Plus, treat yourself, please. Go check out the Invincible Iron Man cartoon from 1994. And if my girlfriend is in the chat, she can confirm. I made her watch the opening scenes where you get to watch Tony Stark flail like a fish in water.
Without a shirt on.
Yeah.
With pectorals that are twice the width of his body.
What did Lee Liefeld or Ren Liefeld? Ron
Rob
Liefeld?
Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld paint.
He absolutely did.
Why does everybody hate that dude? Is it just because of all the pockets?
No, he just doesn't understand human anatomy at all. He's really not a very good artist, but he had some cool ideas.
Okay, is that
He
why?
had the quintessential 90s look, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he did.
So-
That's why. I mean, like, when I look at him, I think
Rough.
when I think '90s, I think that guy.
Yeah.
I think Frank Miller, and I think
Jim Lee.
Seth MacFarlane, Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, I do that.
I do it every
that same
time.
thing
I do it
all
every
the
time. But, which is weird because I hate Todd McFarlane so hard. He is one of the least favorite people in the world. Realistically speaking, if Todd McFarlane was in a room and I had a gun and it was like Dan, Todd McFarlane, and Hitler, I'd shoot Todd McFarlane twice. You know what I mean? Like I only got 2 bullets. You know? You're lucky, Dan. Like there's something about him I just don't like. I don't know what it. Maybe his face, or it always sounds like he has a mouthful of spit.
Todd McFarlane,
Okay.
Seth MacFarlane,
Yeah.
Seth Green,
You're gonna do that.
Tom Green, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Spawn confirmed.
Okay.
What? You're all over the place there.
That was a direct line.
I mean, super fair. It'll never happen. He'll never give up Spawn to Marvel.
Yeah.
You know.
Very specifically, I think that's kind of his whole deal.
Yeah. Well, it is. Although they did make Angela just to rub it in his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he also has a contract. Like McFarlane Toys has a contract with DC at this point.
Yeah.
They're cranking out the Marvel Legends knockoffs. So, we're running super late here. Thank you all for joining us on the live. If there's anybody actually even still here.
Yeah, there are. Hey,
Oh,
guys.
hey guys.
Hello.
What's up? I purposely didn't want to look at the chat because I knew I would just spend the whole time trying to read it. Because, as we all know, I can't read. I choose not to read.
Kelsey said that she likes my hat.
Accurate. It's a hat. It's a thing that you wore.
I forgot literally every one of my PCN hats. I don't have the Professional Casual Network, the Kapapa, or the Big Chucker one in my car right now.
Right.
I have the
Yeah.
Mandalorian one or the
Mysteriously, that one
Empire
always
one.
disappears. Isn't that weird?
I wore it last week!
Yeah, because it was my birthday.
Sorry, I won't be respectful next time.
Thank you. That's all I ever ask from you, you know? With that being said, of course, head over to BearDragonGames.online, get all of your pre-orders in, use PCME10 at checkout. Till next week.
I think next Friday, too, just remember to pop in for the live stream of the Separation Anxiety mission next Friday at 1 p.m. on July 30th.
Where will we be streaming that?
We will be streaming it from BeardedDragonGames.online, and
From the internet.
From the internet.
we might be giving away
right.
a set of the mission.
But the actual service to which we are going to put that on.
On
is still-
Twitch.
Okay, that's what I didn't know if we were going to go YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So for the time being,
So head over to twitch.tv/Professional Casual Network
thank you.
and check that out. Yeah, we'll be giving away one set, which means you can play with your friends.
It's a lot.
You
Yeah.
get a lot of stuff.
I mean,
get
it's
a set of
one,
tokens.
One pack gets you enough to play for 4 people.
Yes.
So you know,
And all of these symbiote cards. There's a whole lot of them.
yeah, this is the time to actually check out our show next Monday, 1 p.m. Twitch.tv/Professional Casual.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, I'm sorry.
Friday the 30th of July.
Yeah.
Check that out. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped for this.
I'm gonna start crunching and figuring out what I want to run.
I mean, did you know that there is a symbiote named Phage? And do you know what Phage does? It gives you all of Bullseye's powers.
I believe that.
It's your parting shot. You could put that symbiote on Bullseye and have 2 parting shots.
Yeah.
So when you get attacked, you could be like, boop, you take a damage and I go over here. And also, boop, you take a damage and I go over here. And also I have stealth.
So Phage is actually, if I am not mistaken, one of the rarest characters to ever exist.
Ooh.
Because when they did the Marvel Legends line, being I'm a figure collector and other things, but I like to see what's going on with the Marvel Legends lines from Mattel, Hasbro, whatever one it is. They made Phage the chase in that case, meaning that there
Yes.
was 2 of everything. Phage was 1. But they were also super smart and they didn't put any Build-A-Figure piece in with him.
Oh, okay.
Typically, the Chase doesn't have a Build-A-Figure set in him. So, yeah.
Fate.
Also, real quick, if you're listening and you do collect Marvel Legends and you have all the parts to Stiltman and are willing to sell him, hit me up. theprofessionalcasual@gmail.com. Let us know. I will pay money.
2 more symbiotes I want to go over real quick just to close this out.
Yep.
Raze, who gets 1 fewer defense die when being targeted by mystic attacks, but gets 3 additional power during the power phase, and their power cap goes to 15 instead of 10.
That's really good.
The other one is Scorn, who this existing may have chosen what team I'm going to run. For all of its attacks, it can choose whether it is physical or energy. And puts sap on a wild on all of their attacks as well.
Oof. That's really good.
I don't want you to get that at all.
Yeah, I won't get it, but like...
And that's the other aspect that I like about this is when they initially go out, it's all random. So we don't even get to choose which ones.
And it adds to the replayability so much.
Yeah.
Just being able to be like, oh, well, Hulk got this thing, and that like, he was great, and yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Anything else, guys, before
No.
we finally sign off for the 100th time?
That's it.
Thank you all for tuning in. True believers, we have been the Professional Casual Network presents Wait, Did I Roll Wild, a Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog live show. Until next time, maybe perhaps next week live.
Yeah.
We'll see how everybody feels in the comments. Bye.